Dear friends and fellow Americans, I have an emergency action alert for you today that requires your immediate and direct attention.
Reporting live from the campus of CSUS, I'm Delia Chacon with the Criminal Justice Department, bringing to you a very important case. United States Attorney Benjamin B. Wagner announced today that Gabriel Richard Viramontes, 48 of Elk Grove, was convicted today of 6 counts of bank fraud and 7 counts of mail fraud. The guilty verdict was returned by a federal court jury in Sacramento after a 7-day trial before United States District Judge Edward J. Garcia. According to testimony presented at trial, Viramontes and 3 co-defendants who had already pleaded guilty to related charges engaged in a mortgage fraud scheme in the Sacramento area that involved at least 19 homes with loans of more than $8 million.
At the beginning of the jury trial, 12 citizens are chosen to be jurors through a 3-step process. Firstly, it starts with a listing of all potential jurors within the court's jurisdiction, called the master list. Secondly, those who report for jury duty are known as the venire, or the jury pool. In this case, more than 30 people came to court, of which 12 were chosen at random, followed by 2 alternatives. Thirdly, we saw the voir dire, otherwise known as to tell the truth. This was where the jurors are individually questioned about whether they will be appropriate to sit in on this case. Judge Garcia asks them many questions to determine whether they had any bias or knowledge of the case that would compromise their value as jurors. Only one challenge for cause, made by the defense, was made due to one of the jurors knowing the defendant on a personal level. Later, the prosecution was told that the defense has 10 preemptory challenges, whereas they had 6. The defense used 6 of them on jurors with backgrounds in either law or law enforcement. The prosecution only used 1. Due to all of the peremptory challenges, it took the entire first day of the jury trial to finally get the final jury panel. Then, Assistant U.S. Attorney Michael Anderson, who represented the prosecution alongside Assistant U.S. Attorney Matthew Stegman, presented the case in chief. This is where the party with the burden of proof, in this case the U.S., presents their evidence. Michael Anderson laboriously explained the prosecution's long list of exhibits that included diagrams of the mortgage fraud scheme, copies of transaction receipts from the Internal Revenue Services, and witness testimonies of Viramontes' victims, colleagues, cronies, and even his own brother. The defense attorney, Michael Bigelow, gave no opening statement. The prosecution dominated the rest of the trial, albeit after one shaky witness. Michael Anderson and Matthew Stegman became a relentless torrent of applicable law, government documents, and witness testimonies, especially the emotionally charged account of Viramontes' own brother, who was obviously taken for a ride. The defense attorney, Michael Bigelow, didn't really do a whole lot, except conduct some cross-examinations of the witnesses and make seemingly superfluous objections. In fact, Judge Garcia sometimes had to stop a moment and ask Bigelow if he had any objections to the statements said. When it was time for defense attorney Michael Bigelow to give his closing argument, he did his best to make the jury feel that any doubt they had would invalidate the government's case due to not showing proof to the standard of beyond a reasonable doubt. In the end, Assistant U.S. Attorney Michael Anderson gave his closing argument where he summarized the case and then reminded the jury that it is reasonable doubt, not any doubt, that is the standard for conviction. The jury retired to the jury room to return a verdict. After 2 weeks of this federal jury trial, the jury returned a unanimous verdict of guilty on all counts on March 31st, 2011. Hello, this is Derek Gonzalez, and I'm here with Assistant U.S. Attorney Michael Anderson, who worked alongside the other Assistant U.S. Attorney, Matthew Stegman, in the case of U.S. versus Viramontes. Now in this case, we had a lot of bank fraud, mail fraud, and of course, mortgage fraud. And I'm here to ask you just a few questions about who he is, as well as what he thinks justice is, and there's a little bit about this case. Hello, Michael Anderson. All right, first question. How long have you been a prosecutor? Well, I've worked 2 years and a couple of months as an assistant U.S. attorney. Before that, I was a deputy district attorney, and I worked at a law firm. And I've even worked for a judge at some point. How did you decide to take this case? Well, the case came through Michael Stegman, the lead assistant U.S. attorney on this case, only after first being investigated by the media and then going through the investigation units of the FBI, the IRS, and the California Department of Real Estate. I came a little bit later to help out with the case. How long did the prosecution take? September 2007 was the time of the indictment, after which plea negotiations were made and the trial date was set. It's really hard to say how long the prosecution took due to the many man-hours that went into this case, due to getting all of the witnesses and evidence together. It's been ongoing since 2007, at least, so I'd say about 5 years. What was crucial evidence in this case? The crucial evidence in this case would definitely be the witness testimonies and the bank reports on the transactions in question. What do you think is justice? To me, justice is looking out for people so that they don't become victims, as well as discouraging crime by punishing those who commit it. Do you think it was served in this case? Yes, I fully believe that justice was absolutely served with a guilty verdict this case. Viramontes will definitely be punished for his crimes. Justice was served to the best ability provided by law. What do you think of our criminal justice system, and are there any changes that you would make if you could? Well, as it is currently, I believe it's the greatest system that we can possibly have. For justice is too complex for there to be a perfect system. The one we have is still being figured out by legislators, so any changes should be done through them. As it is now, I don't really have any personal changes that I would make to it. It is good as is, in my opinion. And thank you very much. It was great to have you with us. Yes, I'm very glad that I could help you. I wish you well in all of your studies. Goodbye. So this brings us to 2 very important questions we're going to answer for you today. Number 1, what is justice to you? And do you believe that it's being served? And number 2, what do you believe we as society should change about our justice system today?
And do you believe that the justice system should change anything within the justice system because you feel that justice wasn't served to you and your family?
Yes, justice shouldn't take so long to be served. And what they're saying that they're going to give this man, after what he's done to our family, should be a longer sentence. And for the amount of pain that he's put us through, the sentence that they're proposing to give him, it insults us. And we don't know how to, we're feeling pretty bad about it.
If so, you feel that justice wasn't served. Is there any ways you think that justice should change since justice wasn't served in this situation for your family?
Justice should not have taken this long. It's hurt our family's financial well-being and our family's reputation, and it's been really detrimental.
Well, after that very riveting and compelling account from the victim, we still come back to the same thing. Has justice been served? Well, in this case, it's a bag of mixed results, to be honest. Through his mortgage fraud scheme, Viramontes robbed many of their money, credit, and well-being. And for that, he has been caught and convicted for his crimes in front of a jury of his own peers. Mr. Viramontes is eligible for a maximum sentence of 30 years. The actual sentence, however, will be determined at the discretion of the court after consideration of any applicable statutory factors and the federal sentencing guidelines, which take into account a number of variables.
In my opinion, I think justice is when the bad people, evil people get a proper punishment, but good people get a proper rewards. Unfortunately, I see no any society has fully justice because people in power, if the people in power are evil, they are more likely to use their power to benefit themselves and crush the weak. So unfortunately, it's a part of human nature, and that this world is always evil fighting with the good.
Hello, this is Derek Gonzalez, and I'm here with our guest, Michael Light, a police officer. Hello, Michael Light. Great, great. Well, anyway, I want to ask you, so what does justice mean to you?
Well, justice to me means that the victim of the crime should be compensated for their time and the perpetrator should be held accountable.
And do you believe that our current system is serving justice?
Why, yes. Yes, I do believe our system is currently serving justice. But I have to admit, there is room for improvement.
How can we improve it?
Well, we can improve it through having more qualified people join the forces. And this way, we'll have better people doing our paperwork, and also we'll have a better community outlook. And also the community will have a better outlook on police. We need these people to talk with the community, keep up the communications, make sure that no one is afraid to come to us. Because we are here to help.
And how do you feel about white-collar crime?
Phew. Well, white-collar crime in general is frustrating for us on the force. For me personally, I feel it's very frustrating because there's lots of people that can be hurt by just one creep who decides to rob many through some kind of pyramid scheme of a sort.
And what do you think we can do to fight white-collar crime?
Well, the main thing we can do is to have harsher penalties. Make sure that they get as much time as possible in prison. And ensure that they can't just buy their way out or get out early through good behavior. And that is how we should fight it.
And thank you very much. It was great to have you with us.
Yes, it was great to be here. I'm glad I could help you. For we are the police. We are here to serve and protect.